Clint Eastwood. Just mentioning his name sends ripples of excitement through movie fans worldwide. But what if there was more to the Hollywood legend than his iconic glare and magnetic on-screen presence? Rumors whisper that he has a unique way with children, an uncanny ability to understand their hopes, dreams, and worries instantly. One day, as he strolls through a quiet neighborhood, an unusual series of events unfolds, hinting at a bond between him and a remarkable little girl. And then there's Tom Cruise, mysteriously stepping into the picture with quiet determination. Whispers circulate that he's planning something extraordinary for a young girl named Avery, whose life has taken a turn for the worse. No one knows precisely what Tom Cruise intends to do or why Clint Eastwood is involved, but the mere hint of their joint presence crackles with suspense. Is it an act of solidarity, a surprising twist of fate, or a secret agreement known only to them? Questions abound. What do these two superstars want with a small-town girl who sells handmade crafts? The answers remain uncertain, beckoning you to stay until the final moment. One thing is clear, this is no ordinary day, and by the time the story concludes, everything you believe about chance encounters, generosity, and destiny may be turned on its head. Clint Eastwood is one of Hollywood's most enduring figures, a director, actor, and producer whose career spans decades. Famous for his rugged persona and iconic roles, he has long been associated with grit, resilience, and a quiet intensity that lights up the screen. Yet behind the camera and away from the red carpet spotlight, he is known among close friends and colleagues for something entirely different: a heart that aches for those who struggle. Stories circulate within the film industry about his discreet acts of kindness, helping crew members with unexpected medical bills, funding scholarships for underprivileged students in his hometown, and quietly supporting environmental causes across the globe. Despite his wealth and fame, Eastwood values simplicity and directness. He has been quoted many times emphasizing the importance of staying grounded. While he rarely grants interviews about his charitable deeds, he's reportedly incredibly kind toward those below the poverty line. Some say that the harsh realities he encountered early in his career shaped him into a man who despises seeing others suffer. His philanthropic mindset has taken many forms over the years, from donating large sums to nonprofits to rolling up his sleeves in volunteer efforts that often go unnoticed. In the bustling entertainment world, where egos often collide, Eastwood's unassuming generosity stands out. He doesn't relish grand ceremonies honoring his contributions. On the contrary, he quietly slips away from the limelight whenever attention drifts toward his acts of charity. He believes that genuine kindness is best practiced without fanfare. This trait has endeared him to countless people who have witnessed or benefited from his compassion, reinforcing his reputation as a legend, a cinematic icon, and a deeply caring human being. Avery is at the heart of this story, a bright-eyed teenager with a warm smile that could melt even the coldest heart. She's not your typical high schooler, though. Her days start before sunrise and end long after dusk. She wakes up early every morning to prepare handmade crafts, fabric bookmarks embroidered with inspirational quotes, small clay sculptures of birds and flowers, and delicate beaded bracelets. When she finishes her chores at home, she rushes to the neighborhood market to sell her creations. Every dollar she earns goes toward a singular, urgent goal: raising money for her mother's life-saving surgery. Life has not been kind to Avery. Her father passed away when she was just a child, leaving her mother to shoulder the family's burdens. Over time, her mother developed a severe illness that required expensive treatments. The mounting medical bills seem insurmountable without insurance, yet Avery refuses to give up. She's learned to balance her schoolwork with her crafting duties, often sacrificing her comfort to ensure she can afford the procedure. Friends at school marvel at her determination. Teachers worry that the stress is too much for someone her age. Despite her hardships, Avery holds on to an unwavering optimism. Her worldview is shaped by the belief that kindness begets kindness. Whenever she sells a small bracelet or a delicate painting, she greets each customer with a genuine smile, grateful for every bit of support. Although her heart aches at the thought of losing her mother, she channels that fear into relentless creativity and a quiet resolve. Her philosophy is simple: life may be harsh, but hope is always within reach if you're willing to work for it and trust that good things can still happen. Avery's stand at the market has become a small beacon of hope in a neighborhood where most doors remain closed to struggle. Her customers aren't just buying crafts but investing in a story of resilience and love. Little does Avery know that fate will push her into an extraordinary encounter that could transform her life in ways she never imagined. And as her path collides with a towering figure of Hollywood lore, her unwavering optimism will be tested, and a new chapter of her life will begin. The neighborhood where Avery resides is a tapestry of contrasts. On one side, rows of modest houses line narrow streets, their paint chipped and gardens overgrown. Children play barefoot on dusty sidewalks, their laughter echoing against the brick walls. The sweet scent of homemade pastries occasionally wafts through open windows, a testament to the locals' attempts to find simple joys despite economic hardships. On the other side, just beyond a gated entrance and tall hedges, lie mansions with sweeping lawns and gleaming facades. A world where the clinking of champagne glasses is more common than the hum of everyday hustle. This stark division forms the backdrop for Avery's daily routine. She spreads her colorful crafts each morning on a small wooden table at the corner of a bustling market. Vendors sell fresh produce, spices, and local delicacies, their voices weaving together in a lively chorus of bartering and friendly banter. The swirling aromas of roasted coffee beans and freshly baked bread set a comforting tone. Yet, if one listens closely, there is an undercurrent of tension. Families struggling to put food on the table, young people yearning for better job opportunities, and elders worried about the ever-rising cost of living. Against this vibrant backdrop, the market also attracts occasional tourists, drawn by the promise of authentic experiences. They come snapping photos, marveling at the handmade pottery, embroidered linens, and Avery's delicate crafts. Many of these visitors carry cameras, backpacks, and an eagerness to discover hidden gems that can't be found in glossy travel brochures. Each passerby represents a potential sale for Avery, another step closer to paying off her mother's medical bills. As the afternoon sun casts long shadows on the pavement, luxury cars sometimes glide by, heading toward the upscale part of town. Most drivers don't notice the girl at her little stall. If they do, they glance briefly and then move on. It's a sobering reminder of the harsh inequalities here. The hustle and bustle of working-class life colliding with the quiet, manicured estates just beyond the hill. Today, however, a different kind of energy electrifies the air. Rumors have been circulating that a famous Hollywood star is in the neighborhood, searching for something, or someone. Locals swap theories in hushed tones. Could it be a location scout for a new film, or is someone planning a charitable project? Excitement and curiosity are bubbling beneath the surface, adding more suspense to the everyday market scene. Avery, too busy setting up her latest crafts, pays little attention to the rumors, until a familiar figure in a simple jacket and hat drifts through the crowd, stopping abruptly in front of her table. At that moment, a hush falls over the immediate area. The hum of conversations lingers, but there's an unspoken awareness that something important is happening. It's as if two worlds are colliding under the setting sun's golden rays, one of modest means and unwavering determination and the other of immense fame and quiet, mighty kindness. "Hey there," the man says gently, tipping his hat. Avery looks up and gasps. Clint Eastwood stands before her, just as iconic as on the movie screen. The lines on his face speak of years of stories, and his intense gaze seems to see right through her. She blinks, half expecting him to vanish like a mirage. "Hello, sir," she manages to reply, her voice trembling. She hastily arranges the small clay figurines on the table, embarrassed by the ragged cloth she uses as a makeshift display. "Can I help you?" Eastwood picks up one of the figurines, a tiny sparrow perched on a thin branch. "Beautiful work," he says, a faint smile crinkling the corners of his eyes. "It takes a steady hand to craft something like this." Avery swallows hard. "Thank you. I'm saving money for my mom's surgery. Every bit counts, so I try to make each piece perfect." A flicker of empathy crosses his features. "That's quite a responsibility for someone your age," he says, setting the figurine down gently. "How long have you been doing this?" 3 years, she replies, hugging her arms around herself. "I started when the hospital bills got out of control. It's been tough, but I try to keep going." A small crowd gathers, drawn by the sight of the Hollywood legend speaking with the young artisan. Phones come out, cameras click, but Eastwood seems oblivious to the buzz. He keeps his voice low and calm, as though this conversation is strictly between him and Avery. "You don't have to share the details if you don't want to," he says, "but I'd like to know more about your crafts." There's a kindness in his tone that puts her at ease. Slowly, she explains her process, how she shapes the clay, the hours it takes to refine each piece, and the painting techniques she painstakingly learned from YouTube tutorials. Eastwood nods, listening intently. When she finishes, he looks at her table once more. "I'd like to buy a few pieces if that's all right with you," he says. "But first, maybe we can talk about a few things you might need beyond just today's sale." Uncertain but hopeful, Avery meets his gaze. There's a glimmer in his eyes that suggests more than mere interest. "Sure, she says softly, her heart pounding with anticipation. I'm happy to talk about anything that might help my mother. The circle of onlookers tightens, their faces filled with curiosity. A hush hangs in the air. And in that charged silence, one can almost feel destiny shifting, as if an invisible hand has pushed these two souls together for a reason far beyond coincidence. Before we continue with the story, we have a small request. We dream of reaching 100 subscribers. Without your support, it won't be possible. So, if you enjoy our videos, please subscribe and give us a like. If you find the story fascinating, comment yes below. If not, comment no, so we can improve our content next time. Let's get back to the story. Time stands still in that busy market as Clint Eastwood leans forward, a compassionate look softening his otherwise stoic demeanor. I'd like to buy a few of these, he repeats, pointing to several pieces in neat rows. He selects a bracelet braided with shimmering beads, a small clay sparrow, and a vibrant sunrise painting. Each item seems to speak to him, reflecting Avery's unwavering optimism. He slips a hand into his pocket and retrieves a simple business card. Would you mind writing down your phone number? He asks quietly. I have a feeling we'll need to talk more about your situation. Surprised yet hopeful, Avery scribbles her phone number on the back of the card. Here you go, she says, her voice trembling. She can't believe the Hollywood icon is not only interested in her crafts but also in her personal life. 1,000 questions swirl in her mind. Why does he care? Is this some publicity stunt? Still, the kindness in his eyes reassures her. True to his word, Eastwood pays generously for the crafts, far more than their usual price. Consider it an investment, he remarks, handing Avery a small stack of bills. You're talented and I want to see you continue your work. Before Avery properly thanks him, he adds, but that's not all. I'd like to help with your mother's surgery. If we work together, we can make sure she gets the care she needs. I have some connections at a medical center and would be happy to cover any costs that remain. Avery's hands fly to her mouth. Tears well up in her eyes and she stammers, I don't know what to say. This is more than I ever could have hoped for. He gently places a hand on her shoulder. Just say you'll keep creating, keep dreaming, and let me handle the rest. Sometimes life throws hardships at us, but that doesn't mean we face them alone. Word spreads across the market in a flash. Clint Eastwood bought a teenager's handmade crafts and is also stepping in to pay for her mother's surgery. Whispering spectators look on in astonishment, some capturing videos on their phones. Many can't help but feel an overwhelming admiration for a man who, despite fame, chooses to offer such a personal act of kindness. But Eastwood isn't finished. He glances at the high school sign across the street. Avery, where do you go to school? He inquires, noticing her worn backpack and the stack of textbooks beside her stall. She points to an older public school nearby that has struggled with funding. I'm making some calls tonight, he says firmly. We'll see about getting you into a better school, one that can support your talents. And don't worry about the tuition, I'll take responsibility for that too. Avery can hardly comprehend the cascade of blessings pouring into her life. All at once, the years of struggling to pay medical bills, the late nights crafting, and the crushing fear of losing her mother feel lighter, as if someone has lifted a massive weight from her shoulders. Her face flushes with gratitude and through tears she manages a soft, thank you. Onlookers murmur in amazement, their eyes glued to the unfolding drama. It's not just about financial assistance. There's a depth to Eastwood's empathy that resonates with everyone present. In the hush of the market, a new connection blossoms. An unspoken pact between a young girl fighting for her mother's life and a Hollywood legend using his influence to make a real, tangible difference. Amid all the excitement, another unexpected twist arises. Eastwood takes out a small notebook and hands it to Avery. I also want to help your family beyond just today. If you ever need anything, food, schooling, or even just someone to talk to, write down what you need and let me know. I'll make sure you have a stable home too. There's a property in a quieter part of town, and I'd like to offer it to your family. You shouldn't have to worry about rent or unsafe living conditions. Avery's eyes widen as she realizes the enormity of his offer. A home? A safe place to live while her mother recovers? It's a dream she never imagined could come true. She nods, speechless, overwhelmed by the magnitude of this moment. Eastwood steps back as the day winds down and market stalls begin to close, giving Avery a reassuring nod. I'll be in touch, he says before navigating the cluster of onlookers who part like waves before him. In the wake of his departure, Avery clutches the money he left for her crafts, her heart swirling with gratitude and disbelief. This day, which began like any other, filled with worry and uncertainty, has transformed into something out of a fairy tale. She stands there, tears rolling down her cheeks, silently promising to use this incredible gift to save her mother and become the best version of herself. News of Avery's extraordinary encounter with Clint Eastwood spreads rapidly through the neighborhood and beyond. Within hours, the story appears on local radio segments, social media posts, and even a few online tabloids eager for a heartwarming scoop. Shoppers who were at the market recount every detail: how Eastwood quietly approached Avery's table, the tender exchange of words, and the shocking revelation that he would pay for her mother's medical bills. Some people call the radio stations, expressing their admiration and surprise. In contrast, others flood comment sections with support for Avery. The community's reaction is overwhelmingly positive, filled with hope that perhaps there is still empathy left in a world that often feels too focused on material success. Neighborhood parents encourage their children to visit Avery's stall, saying, "Look at what kindness can do." School teachers discuss the incident in class, framing it as a lesson in compassion and the importance of being open to helping others. A few skeptics raise eyebrows, wondering if this is merely a publicity stunt orchestrated by Hollywood. Yet even they cannot deny the genuine emotion captured in online videos. Local charitable organizations also jump on the bandwagon, offering small gestures of support to Avery and her mother. A nearby bakery donates fresh bread and pastries to her family each morning. A local pharmacist volunteers to deliver essential medicines at discounted prices. From the bustling markets to the quiet corners of residential streets, people talk about how one simple act of kindness can create ripples of goodwill. For Avery, the emotional impact is profound. She vacillates between relief and sheer amazement. Each time she replays the encounter in her mind, she can't help but wonder if she somehow stumbled into a dream. Meanwhile, her mother, still recovering and unaware of the full scope of Eastwood's generosity, clings to hope as Avery shares news of this unexpected miracle. Their lives are on the brink of transformation, and the entire community seems to be rooting for them, eagerly awaiting what comes next in this once-in-a-lifetime story. In the following days, Clint Eastwood's generosity sets off a domino effect of change that touches Avery's life and the broader community. Word travels fast, and soon journalists, bloggers, and YouTubers flock to the neighborhood, hoping to capture every detail of this remarkable tale. Some call it a testament to human compassion, while others label it a Hollywood fairy tale. Yet, more profound consequences unfold beneath the glitter of headlines and viral posts. One of the most striking changes revolves around the luxurious home Eastwood has offered Avery's family. The house starkly contrasts the cramped apartment they currently occupy. Local conversations shift once it becomes known that Avery and her mother will move into this comfortable new setting. People debate whether such large-scale charity is genuinely beneficial or if it might foster dependency. Some believe it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that Avery and her mother deserve. In contrast, others question if it could create resentment among those in similar circumstances who haven't received such help. Moreover, the sudden media frenzy places enormous pressure on Avery. Overnight, she transforms from a humble crafts seller into a minor celebrity. Reporters ask probing questions. How does it feel to be saved by Clint Eastwood? Does she worry about living in a house she didn't earn alone? Will she continue selling crafts now that money seems less of an issue? She navigates these inquiries with a maturity beyond her years, insisting that she remains the same person, driven by the same desire, to secure her mother's health and find a stable path forward. Meanwhile, Eastwood grapples with his internal conflicts. Though glad to have helped someone in need, he's uneasy about the sudden spotlight on what he intended to be a private act of kindness. He fields calls from reporters and concerned friends, many of whom applaud his generosity. At the same time, others caution him about going too far. In response, he reflects on the ethical dilemmas swirling around this situation. He never intended to overshadow Avery's agency or make her family a media spectacle. He intended to provide a lifeline where he saw desperation. Among the community, a complex mix of emotions brews. Neighbors who once saw Avery as just another struggling teenager now approach her with awe or, in some cases, envy. Some well-meaning individuals try to cling to her newfound fame, hoping to capture a piece of the limelight. This sudden shift challenges Avery's sense of normalcy. She longs for the quiet days when she only has to worry about perfecting her crafts and looking after her mother. Yet she's also keenly aware of how blessed she is. She is thankful for the chance to move into a safer, more comfortable environment and finally secure the surgery her mother desperately needs. The local hospital staff also experience a ripple effect. Volunteers and donors begin to step forward, inspired by Eastwood's actions and Avery's perseverance. Donations funnel in, some from fans of Eastwood worldwide, designated for families who can't afford critical medical procedures. A sense of optimism permeates the hospital's corridors as nurses and doctors witness what a single act of kindness can generate regarding morale and hope. Still, not everyone is ready to celebrate. A few critics on social media question whether this grand gesture might distract from systemic issues like healthcare inequality. They argue that while Avery's family has been fortunate, thousands of others remain in dire straits. The conversation online blossoms into a debate over celebrity influence and the responsibilities that come with wealth and fame. Through it all, Avery remains humble. She continues to create her handmade crafts, determined not to abandon her passion. She even starts teaching a small workshop for younger kids interested in learning art and design, an effort to pay forward the kindness she's received. For her, the best way to honor Eastwood's generosity is by sharing what she has and spreading creativity to others. Ultimately, the ripple effect is evident in every corner of the community and beyond. While some issues remain unresolved, like the broader ethical dilemmas and disparities that can't be fixed overnight, there's a collective sense that something has shifted. A spark of belief that maybe, just maybe, individual acts of compassion can light the path toward broader change. And at the center of it all stands Avery, a testament to resilience and gratitude. She is ready to embark on a new chapter with hope and a firm grip on the blessings she's been handed. Late one evening, a week after the fateful market encounter, Clint Eastwood finds himself alone on the back porch of his California home. He gazes at the sprawling horizon, the amber glow of the sunset reflecting off the ocean. The past day's events flicker in his mind like scenes from a film he can't quite shut off. He's relieved that Avery's mother has begun the process for her much-needed surgery and that Avery has a more secure future ahead of her. Yet, he can't shake the nagging feeling that his private act of kindness has turned into a media circus, something he never intended. He sips his tea thoughtfully, considering the ethical questions surrounding his decision. Should he have done more to shield Avery from the intense scrutiny? Could he have acted more subtly? He wanted to help in a big way, and big gestures in today's world often spark significant reactions. He acknowledges that part of him is proud to have used his resources for good. However, another part worries about the long-term implications for Avery's sense of self and independence. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, Avery stands by her mother's hospital bed, watching the gentle rise and fall of her breathing. The hospital room is quiet save for the rhythmic beeping of monitors. After much anticipation, her mother's surgery is scheduled for the following morning. Avery's heart mixes gratitude, anxiety, and renewed determination. She holds her mother's hand and whispers a promise. Once her mother recovers, she will continue her education in the new school Clint Eastwood has arranged for her, and she will never take this second chance for granted. Half-packed boxes and bags line the hallway at the new home Eastwood provided. Close friends and a few volunteers from the community helped move Avery's belongings earlier that day. Each item represents a fragment of a life marked by struggle. In these boxes lie the memories of sleepless nights spent crafting, the old textbooks she studied late into the night, and even the tiny achievements she collected over the years, school certificates, handmade gifts from neighbors, and notes of encouragement from teachers. As she carefully unpacks, she reflects on the life she's leaving behind and the one she's about to embrace. The phone buzzes unexpectedly, pulling her from her thoughts. It's Eastwood checking in to see how she's handling everything. His voice is soft yet carries an undercurrent of concern. "Just wanted to see if you're settling in okay, kid," he says. Avery can't help but smile. She thanked him again, expressing how surreal it felt to be standing in a home that was not only spacious but also safe, free from the leaky roof and peeling walls she had endured for years. Hanging up, she meanders through the rooms, noticing how the afternoon sunlight filters through the large windows. It feels almost too good to be accurate, but her resolve remains unshaken. She recalls when Eastwood handed her the notebook, urging her to write down any needs. She has jotted a few lines already: her mother's medication schedule, the dates of follow-up doctor visits, and her upcoming school orientation. Each note reminds her that much work has been ahead while much has changed. This transitional period spurs reflection for both Avery and Eastwood. He thinks back to his early struggles in the film industry, before fame and fortune, when every audition felt like a life-or-death situation. Perhaps empathy for that younger version of himself compelled him to help Avery dramatically. For her part, Avery ponders the nature of destiny. She wonders if, in some way, her unwavering faith and her refusal to give up summoned help in the form of a Hollywood legend. Both realize that their lives will never be the same in these moments. Eastwood, known for his stoic and distant reputation, has revealed a softer, more nurturing side to the public, challenging his boundaries of comfort. Once a humble girl selling crafts at the market, Avery stands on the cusp of a fresh chapter filled with educational opportunities, medical relief for her mother, and the moral responsibility to use her newfound platform to help others when possible. The reflection for both is bittersweet. Each step forward is tinged with the memories of their past, moments that molded them into who they are now. Yet, as they stand at the threshold of new beginnings, they share an unspoken sentiment. Genuine kindness has a power unlike any other, and sometimes, it takes just one person's courage to prove that miracles can be confirmed. With the surgeries planned and the new home ready, Avery's life is on an upward trajectory she never expected. Her mother, hopeful for a full recovery, rests peacefully in the hospital, comforted by the knowledge that her daughter's future is secure. In the community, the air is filled with talk of second chances and quiet hope. Proof that one monumental gesture can lift a single family and inspire others to believe in the goodness that still exists in the world. Reflecting on all that transpired, Clint Eastwood finds solace in the idea that his fame could serve a higher purpose than mere entertainment. By stepping into Avery's life, he's not just changed her destiny. He's ignited a broader conversation about empathy, the power of giving, and the ripple effect that even one act of goodwill can have on countless lives. As we close this chapter, we're reminded that true heroes don't always wear capes or spout catchy one-liners. Sometimes they show up at unassuming market stalls in quiet moments, armed with a genuine desire to help. Avery's journey forward will undoubtedly have its share of challenges. However, she'll face them with renewed courage, buoyed by a community rallying behind her and a legendary actor who dared to make a difference. Thank you so much for joining us on this emotional journey. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel. Your support is what allows us to share more uplifting stories like this. If this narrative touched your heart, comment yes below, and if you think we can improve, comment no. We read every message. Here's to hoping each of us can find ways, big or small, to lift someone else in their time of need. Until next time, take care and stay inspired.